Good morning and welcome. Excuse me. Welcome back to the Wednesday edition of Gumball Sports Machine. I hope everybody's having a great, eventful, productive morning. Once again, I'm not alone. I'm joined by the great, my friend, my very good friend, David Largo, aka D'Lo. D'Lo, what's happening this morning? How you doing?
Living the dream.
Love to hear it, man. That's again, it's we live in the dream. Just may or may not be our dream. At least not yet. Anyways, lots of stuff to talk about. Great show on hand today, as usual, on this beautiful Wednesday morning here in Phoenix. And as always, we get started with something that you want. And the first thing, of course, the Wolves, they avoid the sweep. We go into Dallas and win game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. Now, it is now a 3-1 deficit that they're facing going back to game 5. D-Law, so I ask you, do they have a chance to come back, make it the first ever 3-0 comeback in the history of the NBA?
I really don't think so. Um, Luca had a triple double last night. He led in all of the three major categories, led in points, rebounds, and assists. Um, but Kyrie did not have a good game. PJ Washington did not have a good game, um, and they still only lost by 5. So, um, really, I think the ceiling for the Mavericks is higher. And so I don't see a world in which the Timberwolves can overcome it. But if the Mavs continue to struggle like they did last night, I'm sure it's entirely possible. But I just don't see them struggling for another 3 games in a row. So
And the thing with me is that, and obviously we're going to get into this here at 10:15, but it the Minnesota Timberwolves are built to come back. They're built to come back. They play defense. They have people who can go score. They have guys who can go off for 45 points, but then also they have those role players who can also produce, guys like Jaden McDaniels, guys like Mike Conley, guys like Nas Reed. So they're built to come back. How now? Just the other side is the problem. Obviously Kyrie was not good last night. He 6 for 18 on 16 points. Yes, Luka did have a triple double, but he shot 7 for 21. He was not very efficient at all, but he did still have his impact on the game. So the Minnesota Timberwolves are built to come back. I think they'll go into game 5 and win at home. I just don't know if the series gets past game 6 after going into Dallas. Bronny James confirmed to be remaining in the NBA draft. They had to solidify their draft position by today, or whether they're going to be in the draft. So Bronny, confirmed by Rich Paul, will be in the NBA draft. And there's something else we'll kind of talk about a little later in the show. He's declined multiple teams' workouts. He's only working out for the Lakers and the Suns. So, D'Lo, I ask, where do you imagine Bronny ending up?
um, I that's the thing, right? Is even if he declines these workouts, um, the other teams still have the opportunity to draft him. He doesn't have to work out for a team for them to draft him, right?
Right.
So in terms of that, I think it's a toss up. Um, I'm sure the Lakers would love him only to um, re-sign LeBron because obviously, more than likely he declines that player option. He becomes a free agent, in for what we think is the hope of playing with him. Um, but in all honesty, I don't think that him declining workouts with other teams plays that much of a factor into it, and that's why it's called the draft. It's not pick where you want to go, so it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah, no, there's been a lot of talk nationally about obviously Bronny only working out for the Lakers and the Suns. The Suns having the 22nd pick in the NBA draft and no other pick, no second round pick, no other first round pick, and the Lakers not having a pick until the second round. So there's been a lot of talk about that. If I'm being completely honest, I don't see the Suns drafting Bronny at 22. Um, I don't really. I I I wouldn't be shocked if Bronny goes undrafted. honestly. I think he's just, he good basketball player. Don't get me wrong, but what he did in college wasn't that impressive. So it's just one of those things um, that, like you said, it's a toss up. Like you said, it's a toss up. So I mean, anybody could really draft him if they really wanted to. LeBron is a unrestricted free agent, um, so it'll be interesting to see if Bronny James does get drafted and where he does, and then what LeBron decides to do once Bronny is drafted. Because I can't imagine LeBron signing anything until Bronny is drafted. Um, but yeah, no. So in terms of Bronny, it's definitely going to be interesting. Caitlin Clark has a 30-point game. She also had 3 blocks, 3 steals, and probably her most complete game this year as a rookie, but in a loss to the Los Angeles Sparks. So, Deal, I ask you, obviously, Caitlin Clark has had her struggles this year. She's averaging about 15 points a game, but she's also averaging over 5 turnovers a game. So she's had a really hard time keeping the ball and taking care of the ball. Does this mean that, she may not be as great as she might be, or do you think she's still going to be, a fantastic player in this league?
No, she's still going to be great. I mean, I think the common theory that's floating around right now is that her college team would be able to beat her WNBA team that she's currently on. And I think that would be, fun as hell to watch. But, all rookies struggle when they come into the league. With- it's unless you're a generational talent like Mr. Alien over here, 7'4" Victor Wembanyama, who's just
Yeah,
coming
that
out
might be
strong right out
understatement.
the gate. Um, it's like most rookies, they do struggle at points, and especially at the start, they're trying to get acclimated to the talent increase alone, right? And so I'm not too worried. I know the turnovers are an issue, but I I don't envision a future in which she's not a top 5 player in the WNBA. So it'll be interesting for sure.
Caitlin Clark is too talented, too skilled for anybody to judge her in her first 7 games in the league. I mean, what she did in college, obviously now that's college. I understand the skill level from college to the pros is a ridiculous jump. But what she did in college and what she's shown here early in her WNBA career, how she can have 30 points, 3 blocks, 3 steals, again, possibly the most complete game out of any WNBA player this season. Um, and so, again, I know she's turning the ball over, right? She's averaging over 5 turnovers a game. And she had, I believe she had 6 yesterday or 7 yesterday. So it's a weird situation, right? But there's a reason why she was the number 1 pick, and there's a reason why her team had the number 1 pick. It's not a very good basketball team, right? They're 1-6 right now. So, I don't expect anything early from her. Like you said, she's a rookie. There's going to be a transition period. A lot of WNBA players went through it. Kelsey Plum, one of the best players in the WNBA, she went through a transition period. She wasn't nearly as good as she was when, early in her career than compared to now. Asia Wilson. There's few women that there's even few people like WNBA or NBA that immediately have that transition from college to the pros immediately, and it's just great immediately, right? There's obviously there's a few outliers. There's LeBron, there's Wemby, there's guys like that. But Kobe is also one of those guys who wasn't very good in his rookie year. So so it's I don't want anybody to judge her now because again she's 7 games into her career. So I'm just looking forward to what she's gonna do the rest of her career, and really just what she can show everybody else. Um, Steelers quarterback Justin Fields was rumored to be possibly returning kicks for the Steelers earlier this season. I believe Jaylen Warren is the one that said that on a podcast. But Justin Fields simply responded, "I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to return kicks. I'm here to play quarterback. That's my job. That's what I'm going to do." Out of just for laughs and giggles, what would you think about Justin Fields returning kicks, D'Lo?
That is by far the worst idea that I've heard coming from this offseason. I mean, I get it. You know, Justin Fields is an amazing runner for and let me emphasize this, for a quarterback. Okay, um, it's the same thing with Lamar. Lamar is the best running quarterback in the league, and yet there's no world where Lamar is returning kicks. So I understand that they have Russell Wilson, and he will probably start for the Steelers, and allow Justin Fields to kind of learn and grow from um, Russell Wilson. And so you kind of brought him in and you have nowhere to put him on the field right now. And so I understand them trying to make something of the value that he brings, but quarterbacks are fragile, dude. Like they're not built to sustain hits like that. And so I think it's funny. And there's no world where I ever imagine it happening.
No, and obviously, we have the new kick returning rules, the ones that they used in the UFL. But again, even with the new rules, like you said, that'd be pretty stupid, pretty dumb to put. You know, obviously, like you said, Russell Wilson is most likely going to start the year as a Steelers quarterback, but Justin Fields is a guy that they'd like to have long term, and for you to put him in danger by putting him on kick return and possibly getting hurt, yeah, no, that's a no go, and that's just dumb. So I mean, it's a funny idea, it's a cool idea, it's a Madden type of idea, not for real life, especially for what the Steelers want to do. Lastly, this came down this morning. Tyronn Lue signs a long-term extension with the Los Angeles Clippers. I don't know if the details of the extension have come out just yet, but D'Lo, let me ask. And we got about 90 seconds. Did Ty Lue make the right decision by signing an extension with the Clippers?
Yeah, I mean, where else is he gonna go? I think the only other team that was really interested at the moment was the Lakers. And even then, JJ Redick is the favorite over there as of right now. So I really didn't envision him going anywhere. And I think the major issue for him is retaining the players that he has. Obviously, James Harden, free agent, Paul George, free agent. And so if they don't get this talent back in, um, we may see the Clippers struggle even with Ty Lue, and we all know he's one of the better coaches in the league. So I think that it was good for them to retain him. However, if you don't give him the pieces that he needs, he's going to struggle like any other coach. So.
And so I don't know for sure if he made the right decision. I mean, I believe if there were a coaching position to open up, I think he'd be right there. I think he'd be the first option immediately. But with the Clippers and just Kawhi's always uncertain health, PG being a free agent this year, James Harden being a free agent this year, and then possibly losing a lot of pieces, I think he might have had a better chance, maybe a little bit more freedom somewhere else, with maybe some more reliable basketball players in terms of health, or even some players that maybe listen a little bit more or a little bit more coachable. I think he may have had another opportunity somewhere else, but it is what it is. Ballmer kept his guy, kept Ty Lue, and he's back. He's back in LA. So, but that wraps up something to chew on. Every morning, 10 o'clock, go over the top sports stories of the day. That'll be it. But as always, we recap the game, whatever game that happened last night. Last night happened to be the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Dallas Mavericks, game 4 in Dallas. Dallas Mavericks, a chance to sweep the Minnesota Timberwolves to go to the NBA Finals, their first trip to the Finals since 2011, I believe, when they beat LeBron and company in Miami and the Miami Heat. So in game 4 last night, stars shined bright when they needed to. One of those stars has been a little dull the past, few games, past 4 or 5 games. Karl Anthony Towns, he kind of had a little bit of an outbreak game last night, breakout game last night. You know, he couldn't throw a rock in the ocean from a boat in the first 3 games, but he finally picked it up and he made probably the biggest shot in the game.
3 minutes to go in the fourth. Towns, 3, another one! He couldn't buy one in game 3. And
speaking of struggling Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards has also, he's looked like he's hit a little bit of a wall these past 3 games. You know, long finals, having to guard, you know, probably the most skilled NBA player that's ever touched a basketball, and Kyrie Irving. That's a lot, having to get oxygen in the locker room in the fourth quarter. But I'll tell you what, I couldn't tell none of that was going on last night. He had a big game for the Timberwolves. If he doesn't have that game, the Timberwolves are going to Cancun, and this shot is one of those big reasons why.
Gobert will set a screen. Gotta go. Edwards, another screen. A 2. Big time.
And that looked like it was going to seal the deal when Luka Doncic once again comes up with some magic. Now, he didn't have the greatest game last night, and we're going to talk about it here after this. He didn't have the greatest game last night, but he hit this huge shot to put a little scare in the Timberwolves and the Timberwolves fans.
Gotta go quick here. I'd get up and get 2 guys on him right now. Doncic with the desperation. And a foul!
Now, he did end up missing the free throw to complete the 4-point play and left that game at a 3-point game at 103 to 100. But at this point in time, I bring back in D'Lo and I bring back our boy, Big Kev, to analyze game 4 and talk about the series and if Minnesota could possibly come back. So, Kev, you know, obviously just joining us after something to chew on. Let me ask, after watching last night's game, do you think that Minnesota Timberwolves have any chance of coming back and making this a series?
I mean, I did call it yesterday too. Like, if they can take tonight's game, which is yesterday, and if they can take another game at home, momentum could slowly shift over to them, and anything could happen in a game 7. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. Wait, no, they're playing at Dallas tonight, right? I mean tomorrow, right?
No, they're playing in
they'll
Minnesota.
be in Minnesota.
Okay. So Minnesota, then Dallas, and then back to Minnesota, right?
Yep.
I mean, they win the next game, and then they have momentum. Then they win game 6. Game 7 back at home is the best place to do it. I mean, Ant showed up in last night's game. Cat finally showed up. You know, what do you have, 25 and 10 last night?
Yep. Fouled out with about a minute 30 left, but I didn't turn out to have that much of an impact.
Yeah, but he finally showed up. I mean, D'Lo called it yesterday. I mean, he had to be the one that showed up, and that was the key to success. I mean, there's nothing else that can be said. It was a close game throughout the whole entire game, I believe. But it's a win regardless, and it's a much needed win in order for them to survive. So if they can take another game, the next game, and then who knows, momentum could shift. The chances of them coming back down from 3-0 is still highly unlikely. No teams ever come back down from being 3-0. The Heat almost did it. No, the Celtics almost did it last year. So I mean, it's a good possibility. It's a slight chance, but they just need to take one game at a time. They can't look to come back down 3-0 and finish the series off 4-3. They just need to take one game at a time.
What do you think, D'Lo?
Listen, I just want to point out that my hoop knowledge is insane, right? What did I say yesterday? There was one player that needed to step up, and I said it. I said Karl Anthony Towns has to have a big game if they want to win, and he did. 9 for 13 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3, 25 points. It's like I predict the future, right? And it all opened up for him once he dropped the 3-point shot and he started getting to the rim. He had so many tough buckets right at the rim. He had a really, really phenomenal and one in the third quarter. And then it opened the floor up for him to allow him to shoot from the 3-point line. And when he shot it, he made it. He was 4 for 5. That's 80%, right? And so I expect moving forward that he has to have games like that if they want to compete and they want to push this series farther. Obviously, Anthony Edwards, you saw it from his post game last night. He's never been swept, and he was not letting it happen last night. And he put up a near triple double, just an assist shy of a triple double. And so, Rudy with a double double, Mike Conley with 14. Jaden McDaniels only had 10, but you know what he gives you, right? And so I think right now they need some bench productivity. I know Kevin yesterday said that Nas Reed is due for a big game. He didn't get too many minutes last night, didn't play all that well. But outside of their starting five, they're not getting any production from the bench. And I think in the long term, it's going to hurt them. Unlike the Mavericks, where, Jaden Hardy off the bench came in and gave you 13 and a lot of energy. There's guys like that. Derek Lively is obviously out, but when he comes back, he gives you so much energy off the bench. And so, I have a hard time trusting this Timberwolves team to complete a comeback like this. And I don't think it'll happen, as the Mavericks did not play to their ceiling. While in my opinion, the Timberwolves did last night. And so it'll be interesting to see for sure.
Here's the thing, right? Obviously, D'Lo, you called out Cat yesterday. You told, hey, listen, you got to have a big game in for the Timberwolves to have any chance to win, win the game, let alone the entire series. And yesterday, one of the things I also said was, in order for Minnesota to get even one game, their stars have to outplay Dallas's stars. And I think that's exactly what they did. I think Anthony Edwards outplayed Luka, and I think Cat definitely outplayed Kyrie. And some of the role players came along too. And they weren't great contributions. I mean, Mike Conley hit a couple of clutch threes. He was aggressive in the first quarter. Jaden McDaniels, like you said, had 10 points. He was decent. He had a decent game offensively. Nas Reed was a little quiet. He didn't really have too big of a game. I think Rudy Gobert had 13 points off the bench, or not off the bench. 13 and 10. Right. All the starters were above double figures. They all had double figures. Right. Conley had 14. McDaniels had 10. Towns obviously had 25, and he shot extremely well from the field, 9 for 13, and 4 for 5 from 3. So Cat was MVP of the game last night. I mean, he had, I think, 10 points in the third quarter, and then but he had to leave with about 4 minutes remaining because he had 5 fouls. Came back with about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter and had another, I think, 10 points in the fourth quarter. So he had a huge impact. He hit a couple of huge clutch threes, as you saw in the recap earlier. So, and that's the thing for them. They're going to have to step up and they're going to have to stay up, right? Now, Anthony Edwards, he had a great game last night. He wasn't very efficient from the field. He missed a few free throws here's the thing. One of the things I took down, he shot 8 free throws in the first quarter. 8 free throws. So he was being aggressive, getting to the rim in the first quarter. Did not shoot a single free throw for the rest of the game after that. So he needs to be more consistent when it comes to being aggressive, getting to the rim, what he does best. And obviously, he can shoot the jumper, he can shoot the mid-range jumper. He's got an okay three-pointer, but he gets to the rim. That's what he does best. That's what he needs to keep doing. In terms of the Mavericks, I mean, they had good games from their role players. I mean, D'Lo, you mentioned Jaden Hardy. Jaden Hardy came off the bench and gave you 13, 3 for 4 from 3, 5 for 8 from the field. Give you energy, not only offensively but defensively, right? And so you have guys who can make an impact. One of those guys that usually does, PJ Washington, was terrible last night. He shot 3 for 13, 2 for 9 from the field, only 10 points. He was not very good last night. Gafford, he was sensational. I mean, whenever they need to get a big board, he gets it. Whenever he's catching a lob to get some momentum, he's dunking it. So they have role players, but it was their stars last night that really were lackluster. Again, when you look at the triple-double Luka had, it kind of shies away from the 7 for 21 shooting, the 4 for 11 from 3. So that kind of gets blinded out when you see the triple-double numbers. But I don't think Luka played very well last night. Anthony Edwards started the game on Luka, and Jaden McDaniel started on Kyrie. I think Anthony Edwards did a pretty decent job on Luka. I mean, he gives him some physicality as well as some athleticism to try and affect his shot and affect his jumper. So I think that's an interesting matchup. But other than that, I mean, Cat has to keep playing well. Ant has to keep playing well. And they're going home. Role players always play better at home. That's always been the thing in the playoffs. So expect Jane McDaniels to have a good game. Expect Nas Reed to come back and have a little bit of a breakout game. So that's what they're going to have to do in order for them to even have a slight chance to make a comeback. So anybody else any keys to the series? Any keys to the game?
I mean, you pretty much pointed it out. I mean, Cat having to step up, and he has to keep the momentum going because him being the second option on a team, in order for them to contend for a championship team, he needs to be more consistent. And if he keeps showing, like if he keeps doing what he did last night, could turn the series around. But he just needs to keep the momentum and the consistency going.
Yeah, I think at this point it's all on Dallas. I mean, you had your two of your guys that just did not play well in Kyrie and PJ. I know Luka didn't play the best either, but he still played well enough for them to win. And if he plays any better, they win, they sweep. Kyrie plays better, they win, they sweep. PJ Washington shoots better from the field, they win, they sweep, right? So, I think the ball is definitely in the Mavericks' court. And if they just need one game and it's over, and I don't envision them having struggles like this for another 3 games. So, again, I think this series is over. I could see the Timberwolves winning in Minnesota, but once it gets back to Dallas, I don't see them dropping another game at home.
And that's the thing. It's and you'd imagine, right? Minnesota has been so good at home. They've been so good at home the entire playoffs, right? They go 2-0 against the Suns at home. Now they do go 0-2 against the Nuggets in Game 3, Game 4, but come back in Game 6, win, and then go to Denver and win. So they've been streaky. They've been very streaky. Anthony Edwards needs to really step up, and he's letting everybody know, he's a star. He wants everybody to know he's a star, right? He's an up and coming star. Can he prove that, right? So coming back in a 3-0 situation like this in the conference finals, that'd be huge. That'd be huge, and the status that he would get and the praise that he would get would be ridiculous, but well deserved because nobody's ever come back 3-0, right? Boston almost did it last year. They were down 3-0, came back, went to a Game 7, didn't end up winning at the Game 7. It's because, I mean, you spend all this energy coming back from 3-0, coming back down from 3-0, and then once you get to Game 7, you try to find that energy and bring it out of you, but you just use it all in Game 4, 5, and 6. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. Again, if you do go to a Game 7, whoever does win that Game 7, do they have enough energy for Boston, right? Boston is obviously an extremely, extremely good team. They won 64 games this year. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. And again, Cat has to stay like he played yesterday. That's the biggest thing. He cannot go away. He cannot go cold again. Because if he does that, the series is over. Let me see here. And then, stay tuned. We got a special guest coming up here in a few minutes, and then a fun segment in the fourth segment. So definitely look forward to that. But right now, we're going to take a 60-second break really quickly. We should come back with our guest. And, we'll be right back. 60 seconds. And we're back. A quick little 60-second break. Our guest has not joined us just yet, but here should be joining us very shortly. But while we wait, let's talk a little bit of NFL football. The schedules came out about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Obviously, I'm a Cardinals fan. D-Lo is a Niners fan. Kev is a Patriots fan. D-Lo, when you saw the Niners schedule, what stood out to you?
I kind of like the schedule for us, and I'm gonna just look it up really quickly just so I have specifics for you guys, and I think that I can't find it. I think overall we have one of the easier schedules in the league this year. Um, Obviously, week 1 versus the Jets, Aaron Rodgers is coming back. They've got guys healthy now. That defense has always been good these past few years. And so I'm excited to see, hopefully, Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy because I think the Jets could really make some noise this year. Um, we played New England week 4. I'm looking to smack talking Kev a little bit. But I think the big game for us this season is week 7 versus the Chiefs. Super Bowl rematch. I think it's going to be a good game. I don't know if we'll have Drake Greenlaw by that point. There's been really no updates on him and if he's coming back, mid-season, late season. And so overall, I genuinely think being in the division that we are in, no offense to the Cardinals, but they're one of the weaker teams in the league right now in terms of just raw talent. And then, the Rams haven't looked themselves since that Super Bowl win. And then the Seahawks are kind of trying to figure themselves out. So, that's 6 games right there where it's just, I think it's super easy for us. And so I genuinely just think that week 7 Super Bowl rematch, and then I think the big game of the season will be week 17 versus the Lions. I think that will really determine who's the top dog in the NFC, and so it'll be fun for sure.
What do you think, Kev?
About the Niners schedule or about the Patriots schedule?
Patriots schedule.
Well, I mean, I saw the strength of the schedule. We got one of the hardest schedules in the league. I'm not even gonna lie, like we might win maybe 2 games, if we're being honest. Maybe against the Giants. Cardinals and Patriots game is gonna be a toss up in my opinion. So it's gonna be a tough season for us, but my goal for this season is to see what our young guys can do. I'm still like for us benching, like not starting Drake May and having him just sit the whole season and learning from guys like Jacoby Brissett and just kind of like learning throughout the season, because like Javon and I talked about it too. Mahomes sat out the whole entire season until like the last game or something with Alex Smith and the Chiefs, and it's looking like it's working out pretty well. I mean, and look at guys like Jordan Love too. He sat out for a couple of seasons behind Aaron Rodgers. So it's like, yes, I want to see Drake May play, but at the same time, we want to look at it from a long term situation. It's better to have him sit because he is still 21, like he's or 22, around what age it whatever age it is. He's still a very young prospect, and we don't want to throw him into the hellfire just yet, like we did with Mac Jones. But it's a it's gonna be an interesting season. I don't expect us to have a good record, but I do have hope for the future, and I want to see how everything goes. The game I'm looking forward to is against your team, Jamal, the Cardinals in Week 15. Because honestly, I'm gonna try to go to the game. Are you down to go to the game as well?
Yeah, I'm down. Hey, bro, if you guys want to go to the game, I'm definitely down.
And I do want to see the matchup. If both players are healthy, Christian Gonzalez and Marvin Harrison Jr. Like that's gonna be a matchup that I'm looking forward to. If both guys are gonna be available to play around that time of the year.
All right, listen, it's my turn, right? I didn't say nothing, right? Obviously, when you look at the Cardinals last year, you see the 4-13 record, and you immediately, nasty, right? I don't like that. But when you look at the record and you analyze the games, right? The first 8 games, the first 10 games, we were missing our starting quarterback, Mr. Kyler Murray, right? So with Kyler Murray, we went 3-5. Went 3-5. So, and when in the last 4 games of the season, do you want to just take a guess on who had the best offensive efficiency rating in the league? I'll let it just take a guess.
The Packers.
We know where you're going. We know
the Cardinals had the best offensive efficiency rate in the last 4 games of the season. The best. Over Patrick Mahomes, over Josh Allen, over Brock Purdy and the Niners, over whoever, the best. And in those games, they beat the Philadelphia Eagles 34-31. Right? They hung in there with CJ Stroud, the rookie of the year, right? Which might I say, and CJ Stroud threw 5 picks the entire season. 3 of those were against the Cardinals. So again, when you look at the 4-13 record, you immediately think, oh, that's not a very good team. But when you watch that team and you look at that team and you see what we did this offseason, right? We got things we needed to, whether it was free agency or the draft, right? Kyler Murray's having a full OTAs, a full offseason with the new coaching staff, right? They bring, obviously, Martin Harrison Jr. in, one of the possibly greatest wide receiver talents coming out of the draft of all time, right? You still have James Conner, who rushed for his first 1,000-yard season last season. You bring back Michael Carter Jr. as a number 2 guy. You bring in Trey Benson as a 3rd-round pick out of FSU, right? You still have Trey McBride, who, in my opinion, will be a top 5 tight end by the end of the season. And you still have Michael Wilson, who is a 3rd-round pick, and if he can stay healthy, will be a very dangerous threat in this offense. And you go out and you get, in my opinion, the first thing to rebuilding an NFL team is being able to rush the passer and being able to protect the passer. If you can do that in a high level, you will be a successful football team. We go out, draft Darius Robinson in the 1st round. BJ Ojulari out of LSU last year is a 2nd-round pick. He's making strides in OTAs this year. And so it's just a gang of people who just want to play football and physical and violent. Paris Johnson is coming back from last year, our 1st-round pick. And he was pretty good last year. He's moving to his strong side on left tackle, right? And you bring in who's the free agent from Cincinnati? What's his name? The one you told me was not good, Kevin. The tackle from Cincinnati. I can't remember his name, but you bring him in, right? You go out and you get a Sean Murphy Bunting. You sign Sean Murphy Bunting. You still have one of the best safeties in the league in Budda Baker, right? Jalen Thompson is also fantastic. Kaiser White played extremely well last year And so you have a defense that's building chemistry. You have a defensive specialist head coach in Jonathan Gannon, Nick Wallace, a young and upcoming DC, and Drew Petting as the OC. And so you have this team that's building every single day that just wants to get better. I think the Cardinals are going to fight for a wild card spot this year. I think they're going to be that good. I see an 8-win, 9-win season coming from the Cardinals. One thing that stands out to me in the schedule, they play Buffalo week 1. A few things about that. Obviously, Buffalo lost, a key piece in Stephon Diggs, not nearly as strong as they were last year. But we play at Buffalo in September. Much rather be playing at Buffalo in September than in November or December. So you get that out of the way, right? All the cold weather teams, you play early in the year, right? You play at Green Bay on October 13th. Again, it's going to be cold, but it's not December, January cold, right? So all the cold weather games, obviously we're an Arizona team. Arizona, it's hot. So we're not going to be used to 19, 20, 21 degree weather, right? We want to avoid all games like that at all costs. One primetime game this year, which is fine. I don't really care. And we got on ESPN Plus on Monday night. It is what it is. We play Chicago week 9 here. Right after that, the Jets, week 11 bye. Then we go to Seattle, play Minnesota, who I don't think is going to be very good this year. I'll be surprised if they win 4 or 5 games. Seattle, New England week 15. Excuse me. New England week 15. And again, if you're going to win 8-9 games, I'm just going to be realistic. We're not taking any games from San Fran. We're not beating San Fran at all. So you have to sweep either Seattle or LA. And I think we can sweep LA. I mean, not LA. I think we can sweep Seattle and take one from LA. And I think that's what we're going to have to do in order to make a playoff run to get to the wild card spot. But in terms of that, I think the Cardinals are going to be way better than people are thinking. You guys just gave the Cardinals really no credit. You guys just got to. I'm that's cool to me. That's cool to me because again, nobody's expecting the Cardinals to do anything.
Let me just give my thoughts on it. Firstly, I looked it up. It's Jonah Williams. That's his name.
That's who it is.
Cincinnati.
Jonah Williams.
And 2, I think the first 10 weeks are going to really determine how your season goes, right? You have a tough first 10 weeks. Obviously, you mentioned it, week 1 going into Buffalo. However, they're not like they were last year. Obviously, no Stephon Diggs, no Jordan Poyer,
no Trey White.
No Trey White. They don't have those guys anymore. And so, Josh Allen really doesn't have any weapons anymore. And the defense is weaker. And so, I don't think that game will be as hard as people are imagining it, but week 3 versus Detroit, week 5 in San Fran, week 10 at Green Bay, new look Chargers. I know they got rid of Keenan Allen and all of those guys over there, but they finally brought in a new head coach that will, in my opinion, make the difference for them. Week 8 in Miami, week 10 versus the Jets. And so you have a bunch of just really tough opponents to start the year. And if you guys drop those big games, I don't know if you'll be able to recoup the second half of the season. I think, morality kind of goes down the more and more that you lose, and you kind of get demoralized a little bit, right? And so I just think that starting the year, it may be an issue if you guys don't figure it out pretty quickly. So that's the only issue I have with the Cardinals. I think after their bye week, they have one of the easiest, if not the easiest schedule. I mean, they're playing Carolina, they're playing New England, they're playing Minnesota. Those are all winnable games. They play Seattle twice. And so all of those are super winnable games. And so, we'll see how it goes. But that first 10 weeks is going to be crucial if the Cardinals want to actually, get a wild card spot or hell even compete for the NFC West division.
Yeah, no, for sure. And now, don't get me wrong. That's not something I don't think we could do at all. I don't think we're competing with San Fran for the NFC West. But let me get to him. We have our guest. He's here. My boy Sudi, the best barber in the state of Arizona, in my opinion. My barber, great guy. He's my guy, man. He's one of the biggest Lakers fans I know. Let me bring him in here, man. Sudi, what's going on, baby?
What's good, fam?
You good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm great. I'm great.
Hey,
I'm great.
Appreciate you for coming on, bro. Let me ask you. Obviously, you're a Lakers fan, right?
Yes,
You
sir.
saw the way the season ended, losing the Nuggets in 5. Obviously, the Nuggets are a fantastic team. That's going to be a hard team to beat unless you're Minnesota and you have the team that they have.
Mhm.
What do you see the future looking like next season and the following seasons to come looking like for the Lakers?
Well, we know Bron about to be a free agent. That's coming up. That's already been said. So probably with that being said, we probably gonna look to take less money so we can build. If we gonna do it with Bron, he only got like a year or 2 left in the tank. Honestly, he's been great this year. So I think he's gonna take less money so we able to expand. We need to definitely figure out our point guard situation and what we're gonna do with AR too as well. I think that's a situation we need to figure out. D'Lo, I put a lot of trust in D'Lo, but I probably shouldn't have did that. I lost a lot in that. But that's understandable with D'Lo. That's definitely understandable. We got to make sure we bring some bigs back. Vanderbilt for sure, Woods for sure. A lot of it we was injured. And then the coaching situation. I don't know what we've been doing. I've been seeing a lot of stuff, hearing a lot of different things. They're talking about JJ, but I don't think that's a good look for what we trying to do, and especially for JJ's first time. I don't think he need to come into the Lake Show. He need to go somewhere else and develop, and then he can come to that. Stepping into the Lake Show role, that's something pretty big. But other than that, man, I think that if we're gonna take the next step next year, AD needs to lead the team, and LeBron need to be the second to his man, and everybody needs to play around and ball out. But other than that, that's what it's looking like for the Lake Show. With LeBron being a free agent, I know he's gonna take less money, and we're gonna try to pick something up in the off season. But then that's another star. That's Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young, which I don't want it to be Trae Young. I would rather it be Donovan Mitchell, just depending on how we move. But it's a lot with that. Or I'll take DeMar too, but it's a couple different people out there that I think that would fit what we got going on.
And no, for sure. And really, also real quick, I completely forgot. Let me introduce you. Obviously, Sudi. Sudi's my boy. Top right, that's my boy David D'Lo. We call him D'Lo.
Yes, sir,
Bottom right,
D-Lo.
I'm pretty sure you met Kev before.
I think
I don't know
so.
if you met Kev before.
What's good, my guy?
My
So
boy
what's up?
Kev. But D'Lo got one for you.
So obviously, being a Lakers fan, I'm sure you watched it all year. This is really the first full year since the bubble that Anthony Davis has been completely healthy.
He was a
He
monster
played
all season.
72 games, and up until Game 5, he was healthy. Do you envision that going forward? And if not, is it a concern?
Now next season, it's gonna be a concern for sure. That's why I hope that our bigs can stay healthy, because a lot of it was on AD shoulders with a lot of no help from the bigs, from the Jackson Hayes and the shit like that we had. So it was a lot. It was definitely a lot going on. It was definitely a lot, just with the bigs though for sure. But other than that, everybody else played their part as far as the role players. D'Lo, like I said, was inconsistent, but with AD. AD and his progression and what he did this season was hella good. But like you said, but back to your question, I don't think next year he'll be able to follow up and do all that same. I believe he'll have a great year, but I definitely don't think it'll be exactly the full year of him being as healthy as he did, because he played damn near the whole season this year. He probably missed about 8 to 10 games this year. He played a fucking hell of a season. It really wasn't too much he could do with Yoke, and that's what everybody, man. So at the end of the day, he played great against Yoke. And Yoke played great against him, man. So shit, he was averaging like 30-something, almost 30 points a game in the playoffs. So shit, he did his thing, man. It's not really too much about him that anybody really can say. They call my nigga Glass. And, you know, he was injury prone, and he was all those things. That's 100% true. That's 100% true. That's 100% true. Always falling on the ground. 100% true. So, but he was much better this season, and I give him that. And the old man played good too. It's just the role players. It was a lot of inconsistency within the coaching and within the lineup. So, yes, sir.
A lot of talks about Trey Young and Donovan Mitchell, like going to the Lakers, and even guys like DeJounte Murray. But if you're looking from another point of view, you did bring up AD having played a lot of center. And I was thinking like, what would signing guys like Andre Drummond or like someone just having a big in the presence where you can slide AD back to the floor and it's like less bumping and hitting for AD. You think going into the center route, like picking up a new center, would be a better option than a point guard?
To be honest, I don't even really want to say it would be because we've already had him play the power forward with the center, and it looked good when we had the White and JaVale, and we had him play power forward with Andre Drummond already. He was there for a little bit, and he played a little bit with Marc Gasol. But honestly, I think at the end of the day, AD just got taken to the chin, man. Just beats and just play the ball, play the game how it's being played. It's not too many teams in the league right now that even have an actual true center or even actually playing an actual 4 or 5. It's only a few teams, and we see the team that's right now in the finals playing the 4 and the 5, and we seeing how the fuck that's going, a true 4 and a 5. So it's honestly, like I say, you got to just play the game how it's being played. It's a small ball game. You know, it's not too many bigs out there, and AD has the capability to be one of the most dominant bigs in the league, if not the most dominant big in the league, besides Jokic and Embiid and Giannis and you know bigs like that. But at the end of the day, I get what you're saying. It probably would help, and it would take a lot off of him. Honestly, it would probably help mostly on defense, truthfully, because it puts him in the in the helper spot. So and that helps him be even more dominant on the defensive end. So, but I definitely, me personally, it's been working with him in the center role, so I'm okay with him being in the center role. I just feel like he got to be a grown man about it, man, and take it to the chin, and just needing more help, far as the other big stepping up and playing better behind him, or if they playing alongside him. So
So this is something I've been wanting to do, and since Sudi, I got you here, I thought we'd all kind of get into it. Would you rather? This is something obviously something we've seen on other shows, and I thought it'd be a good idea to bring it here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna name a player, and after I name that player, I'm gonna name other players. And who would you take? Who would you rather take in terms of that? Right.
okay,
And so we'll go NBA.
okay,
First player, thought it makes sense. Western Conference Finals, Anthony Edwards. Right? Anthony Edwards is the first player. First player I got, and I think this should be a little easy. I don't think we should take too long on this one. Jamal Murray. Would you rather take Anthony Edwards or Jamal Murray? D'Lo, you go ahead and go first.
Let me think on that. Let me go last.
Okay, Sudi, go ahead. Who are you taking?
I'm taking Ant-Man.
Okay, Kev, who you taking?
I got Ant.
And I'm
Yeah,
not
you
taking.
really-
I'm not no discredit to Jamal with the championship or none of that shit. But I'm taking Ant-Man at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm taking that. I'm taking that because that's his team. That's his team in Minnesota. Jamal Murray can't say the same thing.
Jamal's
And
the Robin to Jokic Batman. So
yeah,
at the end of the day, but they need the 1-2 punch to make it work.
oh, for sure.
Yeah, because
For
when
sure.
they didn't have Murray, they was not on top of the league how they are now. So
Yeah, I'm also gonna go Ant, but it's tough because offensively he gives you a lot more, in my opinion, than what Ant gives you. But the defensive side of the ball, Ant just gives you so much more value, and so I think I gotta lean Ant for sure.
Next, now here's when it gets interesting. Anthony Edwards or LeBron James. Kev, I'm gonna start with you. Who you taking and why?
Why you gotta start with me? Because I mean,
Because you the
you already
LeBron
know.
fan. I know you the
I'm a
biggest
big
LeBron
I'm a
fan.
big fan of Bron. Like that's my favorite player of all time. But I told you too. After Bron's done, I think I got Ant as my next favorite player. So it's a tough choice. But you talking about right now, right?
Right now.
I still got Bron.
Okay. Sudi, what you think?
that's no brainer, man. We gonna have to go Pops. Gotta
Man.
go with Pops. That's no brainer, man.
Okay.
Come on,
Hey,
longevity.
D'Lo, what you thinking?
Yeah, I'm with Suddy over here. I don't think it's a question right now. I'm still going Bron.
Yeah, got to. It's no other way. It's no other way around it.
Listen. Right now, I'm taking Anthony Edwards.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm taking Anthony Edwards, and here's why. Anthony Edwards, I know. Listen, Anthony Edwards averaged 27 this year, 27, 5 and 5, right? And what Anthony Edwards is doing right now, right? But he's doing what LeBron can't do. He's doing what LeBron can't do. LeBron couldn't go into Denver and beat Denver. Anthony Edwards did just that. And don't tell me LeBron didn't have no help because he had Anthony Davis who was playing extremely well. He had D'Lo who played extremely well except for one game. So
D'Lo
I'm not
played
going for
terrible.
none of that. I'm taking Ant-Man right now over LeBron. Listen, again.
At the end of the day, I feel what you just said, and I get you completely. And the only thing that I have to say about that, what you just said, and not to even say because I'm a Lakers fan, because that really ain't got shit to do with it. At the end of the day, it was personnel and matchups, and that goes a long way. We got motherfucking D'Angelo Russell. Not even D'Angelo. We got Austin Rivers. Austin Reeves checking Jamal Murray. You see the personnel. You hear the personnel. Do you hear the personnel? Now we go
Right.
to Minnesota. Now we got Anthony Edwards checking. And Michael Conley. Not even that. Then sometimes you got Katie McDaniels. It's the personnel. The personnel plays a lot. It played a lot. And it definitely played a lot in the reason why they won. The reason why they beat the Suns. Personnel. It was all personnel matchup. You guys ain't had no point guard. So Devin Booker should have never been you guys' point guard the whole season. That was terrible. That was never a good thing to do. And it's just all personnel matchups. Y'all never had no big out there, so they just destroyed y'all in the paint, and then that just opens up everything for Anthony Edwards to go fucking crazy. It's all personnel matchups. Now, right now, what's going on with him and the Mavs? It's personnel, but now it's just toughness. Cat not playing like he should be playing. Anthony Edwards is playing good, but he's struggling to play good. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference. It's all they have like the Wolves have the team to win it all. If they do come back and beat the Mavs, they will destroy the Celtics because of the fucking personnel that they have. The Celtics have a good 1-2 punch. They have great players around them, but at the end of the day, they still don't have the personnel. If Porzingis don't come back, Cat, who gonna guard Cat?
Nobody. No. They got Big Al. They got Big Al though.
They got Big Al, okay, but then they still got Rudy Gobert. I'm not saying
who's on Rudy?
I'm not saying Rudy Gobert is an amazing player, but he's still gonna draw attention. In the pick and roll, you're gonna have to give it to him. The nigga 7'4". You can't miss him. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just like stuff like that. It's all about these personnel matchups. Right now, the Mavs had a good game, good couple games. And they want to go out last night. Now it can go either way. Now, if the Mavs win and they do get on to the Celtics, I have the Mavs in 6. And that's going to just come down to who got the best 1-2 punch. And that's on everything I love. That's going to come down just who has the best 1-2 punch. But if Minnesota wins, Minnesota has a better personnel. They just better overall. And I'm not taking nothing from what the Celtics have done all season. The Celtics have played hella good. But yeah, back to what you said. Ant-Man did the probably the hardest thing that anybody could do. He beat the Suns and he beat the Nuggets. I don't know. It's no other way around them on that. I get you. I definitely get you. I get you, Maul, 100%. I don't take nothing from the young man. The young man has been balling.
So it's interesting. Tell you what, I got two more. I know we're going a little over. Anthony Edwards or SGA? D-Lo, I'm gonna start with you.
Give me SGA. I think that he should have won MVP this year. And I think offensively, he is a lot more consistent than Ant is.
That's
And I
valid.
think in terms of overall star power for the Thunder, they just don't have it like what Ant has. He's got Rudy, he's got Cat, and yet he's
Very
still tied for
valid.
that number 1 seed when we all thought that they were going to be out of the playoffs. So I've got to take SGA for right now.
That's valid.
Kev?
Right now, SGA, but he's also. I might get hate, but for saying this, but he might have already reached his prime. Like he can't progress anymore after that. Like that's the highest he can go. With Ant, he's only 22, and I feel like he hasn't even tapped into his highest ceiling yet, and he's only gonna progress from this point on. But I still got SGA over Ant right now. But in the future, he could overpass SGA when it comes to star power and the consistency.
Oh man! Before I take off, go ahead, City.
I'm still gonna go with Ant Man. I like SGA, but I'm going Ant Man.
Okay,
No
yeah,
discredit to the young man.
no, for sure. And I got SGA. I am and have been a huge SGA fan since he was in LA. And I forgot who I told. No, I told my uncle because he's a Clippers fan. I told him SGA is going to be a star in this league when he goes to OKC. He's going to be a star, and that's exactly what he's become. And I agree with D'Lo. He should have won the MVP. He deserved to win the MVP as the 1 seed, as the best Western Conference team in the league. SGA actually deserved it. And again, no disrespect to Ant, but listen, SGA is just on a different level, especially offensively. Also being top 5 in the league in steals. So yeah, I'm taking SGA. I got one more.
You better not. You better not.
I got one more. Depending
Do it.
on your answer, all three of you, depending on your answer, this might determine on whether you ever come on the show again. No, I'm just playing.
He's gonna
Man.
ask. He's gonna
He's
ask.
going to ask it.
Devin Booker or Anthony Edwards.
There it is.
Sudi, I'm gonna start with you.
D Book or Ant Man?
D Booker, and man,
What we going based on? Overall in general?
just who you do right now?
No Diddy.
No
Ant-Man.
Diddy.
I still gotta go Ant Man. I like D Book, but Ant Man for sure. And it's no same shit like with SGA. It's no discredit. It's just about what he doing right now in his career. It took Book a minute, even though Book was on bad teams. That's it with that.
Elo?
I have to go Ant-Man. I mean, I love Devin Booker. I think he's a phenomenal player, but getting swept in the first round to Ant-Man with the talent that they had, obviously Beal played like hot dumpster fire, but even then, like the duo of Booker and KD should have gotten them at least 1 game, and it didn't. And Ant outplayed him all series. So I just it's recency bias, I think, for sure. And I think if we have another full season under our belt and they get to mesh, I think it could change back in Booker's favor. But as of right now, currently, I have to go Ant-Man.
Suns got to get rid of Bradley Beal, which that's not gonna happen.
Listen, I wouldn't give up a half a bag of Funyuns and a yogurtini for Bradley Beal. So I know no NBA team is giving up anything for Bradley Beal because I'm
Y'all
with you.
should have never picked him. Y'all should have never grabbed him.
That don't make
Y'all should
sense.
have paid Chris Paul.
I mean, roll with Devin Booker and KD and build around them. You see, all the other contending teams did exactly that. The Celtics, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, built around them.
Yeah, you only need two to win. I don't know why you feel like you need 3 now. You don't need 3. You just need 2 in a good cast.
A bunch of role players. I mean, it just never made any sense to me. But Kevin, did you answer? Did you get a chance to answer?
No, I was gonna give you actually this like. The 3 players you named SGA, Ant, and Book, like those 3 guys. Mm-hmm. My list was always gonna be SGA, Ant, and Booker. And
that's good list. That's solid. Those are solid. Yeah. Those are very solid.
I can't argue.
And
very solid.
And like no discredit to D-Book. I mean, we talked about Jamal about his run to the finals. Like it was a run to the finals, and I'm not gonna take anything away from Booker. He is one of the best shooting guards in the league. he was the best shooting guard in the league going into the season until what happened when Ant took over at the top shooting guard spot. It's basically like
True.
we got to see this playoffs from Ant and throughout the season is, especially in the playoffs, is whatever Book can do, Ant can do a little better.
Say it.
Hold on now.
Say it.
Hold on now. Hold on now.
You got to think about it. You got to really think about what he's saying and he being truthful. You got to think about it, man.
What? Hold on. My bad, Sonny. Not to interrupt. Before you go, offensively, what is it that Anthony Edwards can do better than Devin Booker except for attack the rim?
The only thing that I'll give Booker more credit than Ant is his mid range.
Devin Booker is a 3-point contest champion.
Ball.
He is. Not taking away from that, but Ant facilitating, he's scoring.
Devin Booker was top 10 in assists this year.
Yeah, but he had to be that. If that didn't have to happen, if it didn't have to happen, he probably would have never been in that position to even be in the top. He had to distribute the ball. If he truly wanted to be himself, he didn't want to swing the rock. He wanted to get into actions where he could score and then swing the rock.
And then he still averaged 27.
I ain't taking nothing from him.
But okay, here's the thing. Hold on, because I don't like that. I don't like Kevin saying that because that's not true at all. The only offensive part of the game that Anthony Edwards is better than Devin Booker is attacking the rim, and that's because he jumps higher.
That's true too. That's true too.
But every other part offensively, Devin Booker's a better free throw shooter. He's a better 3-point shooter. He's a better distributor. He's a better shooter in general. Right? Everything offensively. Again, the only reason why I would give it to Ant right now is because their performance in the playoffs. The first 3 games, Devin Booker was trash. He came out, had 50 in game 4. For what? Now, again, also, real quick, D-Lo, I know you got to go to work. I don't want you to be on the call and drive. Hey, appreciate you, bro. I'm gonna hit you later.
All right, bet for sure.
All right, D-Lo.
But listen, so I'm not going for none of that, right? Came out, had 50 in game 4. Again, a little too late, but the only reason why I'll give it to Anthony Edwards is because of the playoffs performance this year. But let me also tell you, the first 3 games of this Western Conference Finals, trash. Terrible. I mean, look, listen, all the people that were talking about Anthony Edwards, best player in the league, this and that, trash. Game 2 and game 3 against the Suns, trash.
That was just overhyped. I don't really think they was overhyping him to be the best in the world. He good, but they was taking that shit to another level. He good, but best in the world. They was saying that nigga this was his daddy and shit. They was overdoing it.
No, that's crazy.
They was overdoing it. But he good. The boy is good. The boy is really good.
Right.
But they was overdoing it.
And you know what? Again, I'll take Anthony Edwards. I'll take Anthony Edwards over Devin Booker right now, strictly because of how well him and his team are playing in the playoffs and where they made it to right now. So that's the main reason why. That's the main reason why.
Do y'all get back to the promised land?
Yeah. I don't know how. I don't know when.
It's a tough Western Conference, I'll tell you that though.
It is, but when you got two of the top 10 players in the league.
Shit, I just had 3 of the 2 top players in the league.
Grayson Allen was the best shooter. Bradley Beal, best what? Best Washington Wizard.
On paper, he looked like that.
The thing is, though, is what Phoenix needs to do is they need to get like more rotational players in order for them to be successful. Because
you remember what
the
I told
supporting
you.
Cast that you guys had.
You can't even name none of y'all bench.
Listen. Eric Gordon was terrible this year.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about Eric Gordon. I'm talking about, what was the African dude name? William Watu?
Chimezie Metu? No, we traded him at the deadline. Yeah,
I know y'all did. You remember when Devin Booker told him in the middle of the game, screamed at him, why did you get back? You don't remember that play? I remember that.
That was Christmas Day.
Yeah, he screamed at him. Yeah, screamed at him. You heard that on live TV. Why don't you get back? I'm just looking at that. I said, yeah, y'all didn't know who y'all had out there.
Nah, that's crazy. But All right. So real quick, I know we're supposed to be done at 11, but we going well right now. It's going good. So I got one more player that I want to do. Would you rather with? I got three players. So next one, Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is the next guy we're gonna do. Would you rather with? I got three names for you. And I tell you, this first one is gonna cause some controversy because I know where I'm going. But first one, Jason Tatum or Jalen Brunson?
I want
to know where you going.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah, I want to know where you going.
JB a bad dude. That's a bad boy up in New York, boy. I'm taking JB. Listen to me. Jalen Brunson.
Hold on 1 second.
You good?
Pops. JB? I mean Jason Tatum or Jalen Brunson? Say that's all I need to know. I know who I'm going with. Say less.
Jalen Brunson. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Say less.
Jalen Brunson was missing his second best player, his starting center, right? His second best player and his starting center, and the sixth man off the bench halfway through the playoffs. Okay? I want to let y'all know that. They still beat Joel Embiid. How about it or not, he was playing. Tyrese Maxey, right? And beat them in 6. Got him out of there. On his back, by himself. Go to Indiana, right? In that series, they lost Bogdanovich in the first series. Lost Bogdanovich, right? In that series, Josh Hart gets hurt. He gets a rib strain, but he's still playing, right? Still no Julius Randle. Loses Mitchell Robinson for the rest of the year. Gets him to 7. Gets hurt in game 7. It's the grit and the grind that Jalen Brunson shows. I'd rather have Jalen Brunson on my team than Jason Tatum because Jason Tatum, in my opinion, looked like he's out there expecting to win.
I'm going
instead
JB.
of wanting to go win. So if you ask me, Jalen Brunson or Jason Tatum, I'm taking Jalen Brunson in every day that ends in Y.
I'm going JB with you, gang.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, JB, that's a bad boy. Kevin, what you think?
I mean, before both of you guys gave everyone your answers, I was gonna say JB as well. He was throughout the playoffs. He looked like he was the most valuable player on his team throughout the whole entire playoffs. Yep. I mean, you're basically your all your stars besides DiVincenzo was all out, and he was averaging like what 30 plus, like 34 points per game or something like that.
At the very least, yeah, at least.
And then he had a streak of games where he was getting like 40, like I think 3 games in a row, something like that. So I mean, like he was showing up, he was showing out. Like you said, JB's the bad dude. Like it looked like there was no one stopping JB. I mean, before they got eliminated, he looked like the most unguardable player in the playoffs.
Yeah, so
Knicks was my second favorite team going in, and they would have had a couple more pieces. I see the Knicks all the way.
Man, let me tell you, if they were healthy, they'd be in the finals right now.
They would be.
They'd be in the finals right now.
Even the way how they Tom Thibodeau was running them to death, they'd still be in there.
They just wanted
them down.
They just wanted him.
If they had J Rand, and they had they other big, but not even they other big. They could have got it done with Hardenstein. They just needed J Rand and a couple of other pieces, but really just J Randall. He would have did enough.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, with his impact and his ability to score, for sure.
But he's gonna be trade commodity this year for the Knicks. So the Knicks might end up getting Mikal Bridges.
Hey, that'd be scary. Mikal and man, imagine the Villanova reunited.
They're gonna reunite them. Watch what I tell you. And it's probably gonna be in New York in the Knicks. They already here.
Man.
Hey.
Mikal
get over there with them boys, they gonna hoop.
Man. Number 2. Jason Tatum. I think this is kind of easy. Jason Tatum or Giannis Antetokounmpo. Let's see. Whoever want to go first. Sudi, what you thinking?
I'm gonna just go Giannis. If we going skill base, I'm gonna go Jason Tatum. If we just going overall, I'm gonna go Giannis.
Okay.
The guy that's won MVP.
Yeah, and I didn't think this would take too long. Yeah, Giannis. I go Giannis. The final player, man. We going about 17 minutes over. Final player. Oh, there you go. Jason Tatum or Kevin Durant? Kevin, I'm talking with you. KD, Sudi? No, you good.
No, my bad.
No, you good. You good. Okay,
I'll go after him. Go ahead. I'll go after him.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Sudi. You said KD?
I said JT.
Oh, JT. Okay.
Yep.
I'll go last.
Here's the thing.
This is a tough one, bro.
This is tough. I'm gonna go JT.
Wow, really?
I'm gonna go JT. Here's why. Again, the reason why I said Anthony Edwards is better than Devin Booker is because what he's been able to do in the playoffs. Yes, they have a better team. I understand that. But without Jason Tatum, they're not where they're at right now. And without Anthony Edwards, they're not at where they're at right now. So I'm going to take JT, although he struggled in the playoffs. He hasn't been very efficient. He's kind of been lackluster. But when you have back-to-back 36-point games in the conference finals, when you have those 30-point games every once in a while, especially when you need the most, and I just didn't see that from KD. Just didn't see that from KD this year in the playoffs. And so I'm gonna go JT simply because of his production in the playoffs.
Maybe for me it's like looking back at what he's done throughout his career. Maybe that's why it was like tough for me to decide. And it's you taking JT low-key surprised me because I mean, and not even just the biased part, but it's like this is like one of the greatest scorers of all time.
The greatest, in my opinion.
And JT is he's always gotten criticized for being inconsistent, super inconsistent as a superstar. But you can't take anything away from JT. He's in the finals now. Like he cruised his way to the finals. Yes, his team is the better team. It's still a tough choice for me, but at this point in their career, with KD not having that many of his prime years left, I'll give it to JT.
JT. Hey, so it looks like a JT sweep when it comes to KD and JT. But quickly,
KD
30
still
seconds. Huh?
KD still fire. Don't ever get it twisted.
Oh, for sure. Hey, 20 seconds though, real quick. Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson. Real quick. I'm going JB.
I'm still going J. I'm going JB. He too twitchy.
Kev, real quick. 5 seconds.
Damn it, I got JB.
JB. Hey, listen. Great show, bro. Sudi, appreciate you.
No problem. Appreciate you, gang.
Hey, always, bro.
Yes, sir.
Always, for sure. Hey, and Sudi, we're going to have you back, especially for the finals, too. So we got to have you back on for sure. But
yeah, definitely.
All right. Oh, most definitely. Appreciate y'all for watching, man. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m., same time, Thursday. Yeah, hope y'all enjoyed. I'll see y'all later. Deuces.
Yes, sir.